that guy in their box? He used to be an NHL tough guy. He coached the guy with the Panthers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He talked to he talked to Huey for a little while. Yeah. He talks to Bassett too. I've seen him around.
Yeah, so that's probably.
All right. Apologize for the momentary delay. I got kicked off the Wi-Fi somehow, and I had to reset up. Aldridge gets tied up with a Florida person. Rybicki gets taken down, and we're going to go on the power play. So penalty draw from Rybicki puts up a power play opportunity. 15:39 to go in the game. Reynolds, Palauskas, Letcher, Nietzsche, and Prisgintis out for this power play. Face off one back to Letcher, over to Prisgintis. Prisgintis' shot is blocked. Puck up in the air. Nietzsche gets it through some feet and throws it back to Letcher. Letcher regroups with Prisgintis. Prisgintis carries forward. Reynolds touches up and is in the middle. Centering pass just behind Reynolds. Florida gets a shorty opportunity. Puck backhand shot past cutting. And it is 1-0 Florida, short-handed goal. Face off one back. We've got our second power play line out here. Paulo, Campbell, Kushkowski, Brown, and Chilicki. Good give and go there with Kushkowski and Paulo. Puck got put in the back. It got dug out and over to Chilicki. Chilicki to Campbell. Campbell to Kushkowski. Kushkowski down low for Paulo. Dug out by Florida, kept in by Campbell. Campbell back to Kushkowski. Over to Campbell. Campbell, lap shot, hits the crossbar. Kushkowski back to Campbell. Over to Kush. Kush shot blocked. Bounces over to Campbell. Back to Kushkowski. Kushkowski trying to put it on. Goes down low. Brown comes over and knocks it to Paulo. Paulo and Brown battling in the corner. Paulo digs it out. Brings it from behind. Over to Kushkowski. Kushkowski back to Campbell. Campbell tipped by Brown. Blocked. Pass over to Paulo. Paulo tries a jam attempt and the net goes off. 14:04 to go in the first. 25 seconds left in the power play. We're going to send a line change out. Kruger, Credidio, Bergeron are going to join Aldridge and Rybicki. Florida wins that faceoff and sends it down. Cutting slows it down with his stick and leaves it for Rybicki. Rybicki from behind his own net. Has one man. Gets tripped. No call. Kruger sends that puck down. 9 seconds to go. Bergeron gets tied up. Puck in the corner. Kruger, Credidio, and Bergeron all working even strength now at 13:35. Florida working off of the sideboard, gets past Rybicki. Brings in the puck on the right side, tries to send it in. They have to regroup. Florida chipped in. Rybicki to the corner. Sends it around for Bergeron. Florida steps in front, takes it back to the corner. Kruger battling with Florida, gets the puck back in the corner, and he's trying to work it out. Makes it up the sideboard. Florida keeps it and sends it back down low. Aldridge comes over. Pins his man. Puck still free over towards the corner with Rybicki. Florida from behind cutting. Tries a stuff attempt. Puck over to Bergeron. Bergeron to Credidio. Bounces off of Credidio. Hollow going in hard. Carter comes on the ice with him. Carter loses the puck in the neutral zone, but does get it back in the defensive zone, sends it back to Miller. Miller to Campbell. Campbell chips ahead a little too far for Paulo. Florida sends it to the sideboard and out. Miller to Campbell. Campbell to Chilicki. Chilicki chips it in. Carter hard on the forecheck. Gets to his guy. Florida still with it. They put it through neutral ice. Nietzsche on the ice now as well. Chilicki off of the sideboard to Campbell. Campbell joining the rush. Tries a slide pass to Carter. Carter for Nietzsche. Nietzsche gets pinned. Campbell changes. Prusgintis comes on the ice. Nietzsche and Carter working to dig. Chilicki circling, waiting for the puck to come free. Nietzsche to Prusgintis. Shot wide. Carter takes a slash. We're going to go back to the power play. Miller to Prusgintis. Carter back to Chilicki. Sixth attacker on. It's Reynolds. Shot away. Reynolds gives it to Carter. Carter to Prusgintis. Prusgintis shot wide again and covered. 11:14 to go in the first. And we'll go back to the power play. Paulo, Prusgintis, Aldridge, Campbell, and Chilicki. Different power play look with a couple of big bodies out there. Florida knocks the puck away and carries in. Aldridge gets a hold of it, puts it onto the sideboard for Chilicki, but kept in by Florida. Florida has a fairly aggressive kill. Prusgintis sends it to Campbell. Campbell cross ice for Aldridge. Aldridge sends it in. Paulo on the forecheck going for it. Puck sent around on the sideboard. Prusgintis picks it up. Goes behind the goaltender. Comes around for a stuff attempt. Puck in front and covered. Prusgintis trying a backdoor backhand shot. It's covered, and we'll go to another faceoff. Minute 24 to go in the power play. 10:38 in the period. Still Florida headed by one. Florida gets control of this faceoff and sends it out. It bounces past Prusgintis. Campbell pulling back, gets there first. Florida being incredibly aggressive, forcing Campbell to put the puck back to Prusgintis. Paulo over to Chilicki. Chilicki carries in. Down low for Campbell. Campbell back to Chilicki. Chilicki gets a shot. It's blocked in front. Florida tries to send it out. They do, and they go for a change. Prusgintis takes it away. Kushkowski comes on the ice. Credidio and Bergeron on with him. Miller to Rybicki. Rybicki to Miller. Back to Rybicki. Up for Credidio. 27 seconds to go in the power play. Kushkowski over to Miller. Miller finds Berge. Berge puts a shot on. Gets off the pad. Florida clears. Rybicki up to Kushkowski. Kushkowski crosses the center line. Carries in. Drops for Miller. Miller back down low off of the net. Over to Credidio. Credidio finds Rybicki. We're even. Rybicki shot goes wide. Florida picks it up off of the sideboard, sends it forward. Miller, good stick, keeps that puck in. Credidio to Kushkowski in the slot. Kushkowski shot. No rebound given. 9 minutes to go in the first. New line out there with Brown, Letcher, and Reynolds. Rybicki and Miller at D. Face off one back to Rybicki. Rybicki tries to put it on. It hits into the pads of Florida. Florida dumps that puck down low. Good step in by Letcher. He read that pass perfectly. Centering attempt for Reynolds goes a little far, kept in though by Fury. Reynolds comes over, wins that puck off of the board, and sends it into the middle of the ice. Florida sends it down, and that's an icing. We're going to get a D change. Reynolds on the left, Brown at center. Face-off pushed over. Reynolds picks it up. Over in the middle for Letcher. Letcher circles, puts it down for Brown in the corner. Brown makes some room, puts it back down for Reynolds. Reynolds carrying across. Pass goes wide. Florida's got two. Little give and go attempt. Florida loses it behind the net. Over to help. Net gets knocked off. We'll get a line change. Pulauskas, Carter, and Nietzsche join Prisgintis and Aldridge. 8:03 to go in the game. Face off one back for Prisgintis and sent forward. Bounces past Carter. So after that icing, we'll come all the way back. Puck comes up to Carter and into neutral ice. Florida picks it back up and sends it down. It bounces on cutting, so no icing. Aldridge over to Prisgintis. Prisgintis tries to move that forward, and it bounces off of the boards and over to Florida. Florida D to D with some room, sends it up and in. Florida from behind the net. Puck comes over to Carter, who chips it back for Nietzsche. Nietzsche to Campbell. Campbell high into the ice. It's not going to go for icing. Pulauskas on his horse gets there into the corner. He's got Carter. Carter shot blocked over to the corner for Nietzsche. Nietzsche back to Carter. Carter trying to get that up to Miller. Florida gets in the way, and they carry through the neutral zone. A lot of dumping from Florida. They are a fast team from what I remember, so they want to try to get past us. Nietzsche off the sideboard. Miller cross for Campbell. Campbell to Chalicki. Chalicki centering for Florida, picks it up and goes the other way. We're going to change. Pulauskas comes off the ice. Paulo comes on. Paulo, Chalicki, and Credidio on the ice right now. Trying to find some chemistry here. We're trying some different line options. Miller up the boards for Chalicki. Chalicki hits off of his stick and back down. Florida battling on the sideboard now. Stick. Miller's going to go. Oh, not Miller. Okay. Paulo is going to go. I thought they were going to call a slash on Miller. They're calling interference on Paulo. So we're going to go on the kill. 5:48 to go in the first period. Paulo with 2-minute minor. Reynolds and Bergeron. Rybicki and Aldridge. Face-off push to the point by Florida. sent back down low. They tried to stick handle. Aldridge gets there and ties up his man. Florida picks up the puck and goes behind cutting. Florida from the blue line. Good job by Bergeron. Reynolds picks up that puck and sends it forward. It goes a little wide of Berge, and Florida sends the puck back in. Carrying it behind cutting the boards. Over to their D and across. Looking for a shot. Bergeron in the way. Florida has to dump it down low. Aldridge comes over to help. Florida sends that puck around the boards and then back down low. Florida from behind the net. Working it down low to high game. To the point, back over to the sideboard. Shot in front, save, cutting, and cleared. Florida has to tag up. Florida enters. So with 50 seconds remaining on the kill, Florida gets a shot and a goal. Bergeron, Kushkowski, Polauskas on the ice, Prisgintis and Miller at D. Florida working off of the sideboard. Sends the puck down. Prisgintis up the boards, stepped in front of by Florida. Kushkowski picks up the loose puck behind cutting and sends it up to Polauskas. Polauskas up the near board. Cuts to the middle, gets a shot into the glove of Florida, and no rebound. 4:10 left in the first. Same players. Kushkowski to take the draw. Face-off one over to Polauskas and bounces to Miller. Miller centers for Bergeron. Bergeron has 3 on him. Florida winds up with the puck. They send it in wide. All right. Kushkowski takes that, or I'm sorry, Kushkowski, Nietzsche on the ice with Credidio and Letcher. Shot from Florida into cutting stomach. No rebound. 3:43 to go in the first. Face off one to the corner for Campbell. Campbell hard around for Rybicki. Rybicki. He's got space. Sends it for Credidio. It hits off of Florida and into the zone. Nietzsche in hard. Gives a shove. Puck over to the sideboard. Florida loses it. Nietzsche gets it back. Letcher avoids contact. Gets a shot. Goes wide. Rebound right back to him. Gets pushed out. And Florida carries. Trying to get past Rybicki. Cutting. Pushes the puck over the sideboard. Rybicki to Nietzsche. Bounces off of Nietzsche's stick back to Florida. Florida keeps the puck in. Nietzsche knocks it down. Working on the sideboard, Florida knocks it back. Campbell gets to it and sends it to Rybicki. Rybicki cross ice for Credidio. Credidio enters. Letcher in the middle. Letcher over to Credidio. Puck in the corner. Aldridge on the ice. Reynolds on the ice. Aldridge goes to pick up. Letcher changes. Brown comes on. Prisgintis up to Credidio. Credidio sends it in for Reynolds. Reynolds in the corner. Up to Prisgintis. Prisgintis has a streaking Kruger. Kruger shot. Puck's in the middle. Brown was tied up. Florida sends it to the neutral zone. Shot blocked. Goes wide over to the sideboard. Brown to Prisgintis. Prisgintis gets it knocked away. Aldridge tries to send it forward. Florida back in. Puck to the middle. Backhand pass. Good tie up by Prisgintis. Puck sent over to Reynolds. Reynolds with space. He's going to carry it. Reynolds avoids one check. Carries forward. Kruger in the middle of the ice. Brown in the slot. Florida intercepts the pass and sends it back into the neutral ice. Miller takes it off of the board. Gives it to Campbell. Campbell to Brown. Brown for Kruger. It goes a little wide. Brown changes. Carter on the ice. Paulo is on for Reynolds. Kruger goes for a change. Carter comes in. Florida enters in the middle. Shot through the crease. Florida picks it up off the sideboard. Trying to get past Miller. Good stick. Miller sending it in. Carter gets a hold of it. Gets to change. Jalicki comes on. Carter still over to Miller. Miller tries to shoot. It gets blocked. Florida entering back in. Nice pass by Florida. They send it on net. Cutting pushes it to his glove. And we get a stoppage. 47.5 seconds to go in the first. Still 2-0 Florida. Coach Wall sends out another line. It's going to be Kushkowski, Pulauskas, and Bergeron. Puck across, hit by Rybicki. Rybicki carries that puck forward. It gets back to the corner. Rybicki around, hits off of the official, sees it and gets it out. Pulauskas giving some pressure. Florida circling. Tries to get past Burge. Burge, great job. Kushkowski picks it up, slows it down, and sends it across. Florida picks up. Trying for one last rush. Pulauskas picks up that puck, gets a shot. It goes over on net. And Florida's just going to pin it for the rest of the period. So after one, Florida Lions up 2-0. We'll start the second period with Brown, Kruger, and Reynolds. Prisgintis and Miller at D. Reynolds pushes it ahead. It goes over to Florida D. They go D to D. Kruger comes over. Florida sends it down. It hits off of Miller. Cutting plays it up. It goes to Kruger. Kruger gets a stick lift. Florida back in on cutting. Puck in front. Reynolds clears it. That'll go for an ice. Face-off controlled by Florida. They got a shot. It's blocked by Florida's own stick. Miller gets hooked. The official saw it but didn't call it. Florida sends it back in. Cutting slows it down. Miller picks it up and sends it over for Brown. Brown takes it off of the board. He's got space, so he's going to carry. Florida lets him in. Brown shot is blocked, but it goes right to Kruger. Kruger rifles one past the goaltender. Put shots on, good things happen. So it'll be Kruger from Brown at 16-10. Paulo, Chalicki, Carter on the ice. Aldridge and Rybicki at D. Florida gets past Paulo, carries in. Centering attempts knocked away by Rybicki. Another attempt, pad save by Cutting. Florida sends that puck back in. It bounces off of a player picked up by Paulo. Paulo with a nice little toe drag. Corner, he dumps back for Carter. Carter takes on two guys. Paulo over to help. Paulo on the sideboard. Sends it back low for Carter. Carter to Chalicki. Chalicki on the far board. Tries to send it back low for Carter. Carter gets pinned. Florida with a breakout. Florida on the near boards. Drop pass. Shot is wide. Over to the far board. Chalicki is there with Aldridge. Paulo in the corner. Gets a stick. Aldridge sends the puck up the boards. Florida from the point gets a shot. Knocked aside by Rybicki. Rybicki sends it forward. Chalicki's going for it. It might not get there. And there's an icing. 15 minutes to go in the second. We'll get an ice cut again. 30 or thereabouts. Nietzsche, Credidio, and Letcher on the ice. Campbell and Miller at D. Letcher, good stick, gets that puck out, sends it over to Credidio. Credidio tried to get it back to Letcher, goes just past him. Campbell picks up that loose puck and goes behind Cutting. Puts the puck to Miller. Miller across for Credidio, knocked back by Florida. Miller takes that puck away. Florida gets it in the corner and up the near board. Miller, good block with a skate to Credidio. Credidio sends it back on where it is. Letcher, little battle after the fact. Florida changes. $14:22 to go in the second. Letcher takes the draw and pushes it back to Nietzsche. Nietzsche battling against one guy, sent back in. Credidio trying to lift a stick. Florida on the near board, sends it down low. Miller gets tied up and trips over the stick of the Florida player that he was tied up with. Campbell sends the puck high. Florida's got to go get it. Letcher chasing. Gives to Florida. Tries to get it out. Good job by Nietzsche. Puck goes back down into the corner. Nietzsche to get some pressure. Credidio did a nice job putting him into the boards. So sends the puck forward. It hits off. Cutting plays it back for Campbell. Campbell up. to Letcher. It hits the skate of Florida. They take a stumble. Nietzsche gets a stick on it. Pulauskas is on the ice. Puck is cleared. Letcher changes. Bergeron comes on. Aldridge to Prusgintis. Over to Pulauskas for Kushkowski. Kushkowski's shot into the goaltender. No rebound given. And we'll get an in-zone faceoff. Florida wins that face-off, sends it around behind their goaltender. Up the near board. Prusgintis, big hit. Puck gets sent in the zone. Aldridge gets there first up to Pulauskas. Pulauskas takes a hit. Puck goes underneath him. Picked up. Pulauskas avoids a hit, but kept in by Florida. Florida shot blocked by Pulauskas' stick. Kushkowski and Prusgintis push that forward to Burge. Florida gets a hold of it and blocked by Pulauskas for Florida. A drop pass, and they try to get it up the near board. Florida sends it in on the far side, trying a centering pass. Good job by Aldridge. Puck is still loose. Aldridge tries to get it out. It hits a Florida player. Florida trying to battle against Pulauskas. Pulauskas gets it up the boards, but Florida keeps it in. One-time attempt by Florida. Save, cutting. Over to Pulauskas to Kushkowski. Kushkowski wanted to get it to Bergeron. Prusgintis comes up to help. It goes to Burge. Burge to Pulauskas. Florida gets a hold of it, and they send it down. No icing. Kushkowski changes. Reynolds comes on. Prusgintis up the boards for Pulauskas. Over to Reynolds. Kruger on for Pulauskas. Reynolds trying to carry it forward. Bergeron gets interfered with. Campbell, good job keeping that puck in. Burge changes. Brown comes on. Rybicki at D on the other side. Brown picks it up off of the sideboard. Down for Reynolds. Gets deflected to Campbell. Campbell shot in front, bounced off of the pad. Reynolds takes it off of the sideboard. Reynolds back down low, hits the goaltender. Kruger is there. Kruger to Rybicki. Rybicki across for Campbell. Campbell takes a sidestep, hits Brown in the back. Florida couldn't get it past Reynolds, but then does get it off of the sideboard. It's offsides. Florida picks up. Trying to carry in. Good activity from Fury in this shift. A lot of good activity over the last few minutes. Florida tries to dump in. It hits the official. Brown gets it back to neutral ice. Florida dumps it in on Cutting. Cutting drops it for Campbell. 10:40 to go in the period. Campbell up for Brown. Brown chips it in. Florida off of the glass to Campbell. Campbell puts it aside. Florida is offsides. Miller picks up, avoids contact, carries. Waiting for help, puts it down for Brown. Brown into the corner for Paulo. Chalicki working off of the backboard. Carter comes on. Carter, huge hit. The gentle spirit of Ryan Carter showing some love to the Florida player. Florida wins that faceoff and goes over to the near board. They try to send it forward. Doesn't touch anyone and goes for an icing. 9:51 to go in the second. Still 2-1 Florida, but we're going to get an in-zone faceoff here with Paulo, Carter, and Chalicki, Miller, and Prusgintis. Florida over to the sideboard. Carter comes in, gets a hit, forces Florida to turn it over. Paulo gets it to Carter. Carter sends it back down. Florida, cross ice, and around. Puck to Miller. Miller gets the puck up the boards. Florida ices. Starting to see a lot more fire on the Fury side of things. Battling back from the deficit they were in the first period. 9:19 to go. It's likely we'll get an ice cut at the next whistle. Paulo steps in to take the draw. Face off one back by Florida. Florida coming around. Chalicki picks that puck up. Florida. I think that hit from Carter made Florida a little wary of people coming near him. Chalicki giving pressure, puck in the corner. Florida avoids and back around. Paulo, big hit for Paulo, puts him into the corner. Florida puts the puck up, tries to get past Miller. Another puck hits off of Prisgintis. Florida gets a shot saved by Cutting. Chalicki in the corner. Florida battling against Prisgintis, puts the puck in the middle. Carter picks it up. Carter's got space. To the far board, carries in. Gets a nice little move pass, and then off of the goaltender, Florida picks up the loose puck and sends it in to the near board. Sent up and chipped in. Cutting, leaving it for Rybicki. Florida changes. We've got room. Carter picks it up over to Credidio. Credidio carries in. Shot. Sails high, bounces off of the glass. Florida has to deal with it. It's bouncing. Credidio gets it back, puts it in Nietzsche. Nietzsche shot. Goes wide. Nets off. And that should be the ice cut. 8:06 to go in the second. Flurry of activity from the Fury. We'll go to ice cut. Let's hope they can carry it forward. We'll give us about minutes and we'll be back. And we're back. Come back for the second half of the second period. 8:06 to go. Kruger, Reynolds, Brown, Miller, and Campbell. Kruger takes the faceoff, wins it to Reynolds. Reynolds puts it back for Miller. Miller off of the boards. Brown picks it up, loses it in the feet of the Tampa Bay player. Miller keeps it on the sideboard. Brown trying to dig it out. Sent back down for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay up the near boards and across down into the corner. Miller loses an edge. Centering pass hits off of Kruger and back behind Cutting. Puck in the middle. Brown picks that up, takes it on the sideboard, and gets that sent in on net. Played to the side by Florida. Brown changes. Bergeron is on. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Kruger changed. Bergeron on. Nice hit by Prisgintis. Brown picks it up. Shot goes across the crease. Kept in by Prisgintis. Hits off of the defender and covered by Florida. Reynolds in a little shoving match with one of the Florida players. They have to separate. Ooh, captain on captain. Separating the captains. Kushkowski, Bergeron, and Pulauskas out. Prisgintis gets to that loose puck. Bergeron tips in front, but covered by the goaltender. 6:59 to go in the first. Fury looking more like themselves with every minute of this game. Kushkowski wins that back to Pulauskas, over to Prisgintis. Prisgintis sends it down low. Intercepted by Florida. They go behind their own goaltender and up the far board. Kushkowski knocks that puck down. Pulauskas gets it to the side. Kushkowski goes down, tries to poke a puck away, but it winds up tripping Florida, and we're going to go on the kill. 6:44 to go in the second. Kushkowski 2 for tripping. Nietzsche and Letcher on the ice with Prisgintis and Aldridge for this kill. Nietzsche wins it back to Prisgintis. Prisgintis hard around for Letcher. Letcher does a nice job of tying up. The puck goes all the way down. Nietzsche gets there first, controls the puck. It gets knocked away. Then he gets taken down. I don't know. I think that should have been a penalty, but the ref gets knocked over by a Florida player. Nietzsche's still battling. Puck in the middle of the ice. Great job by Nietzsche. He goes for a well-deserved change, and Paulo comes on to join Letcher. Letcher pins. Florida working it down the board, back up to the point. Over on the sideboard, Florida back up top. Cross ice. It's blocked. Paulo tries to clear. Florida, another opportunity blocked by Aldridge. Puck comes around. Florida keeps it in. Letcher comes up to challenge. They go cross ice. Paulo up to challenge. Puck down low into the corner. Carries behind, cutting to the opposite corner. Prisgintis gets it out and sends it down. 45 seconds to go on the kill. Letcher changes. Reynolds is on. Prisgintis changes, and on comes Campbell. Paulo doing a nice job of giving pressure to Florida. They try to exit their own zone. They cut through the neutral zone. They've got a guy back door. Campbell gets a stick on that puck and sends it over to the boards. Florida trying to keep it in. Back up to the point. Paulo shadowing his man. Paulo, good stick. Gets it out. He's got Reynolds. Reynolds on a breakaway. Reynolds cutting through. Shot goes high. He gets taken down. Hits the boards awkwardly, but it looks like he's all right. 2 seconds to go on the kill. Kushkowski comes on the ice. Kruger is on. Kushkowski changes. Brown comes on the ice. Florida trying to work it through. Brown waiting for a loose puck. It never came. Florida, backdoor. Deflection behind Cutting. Over to the sideboards. Shot on Cutting, and he covers. 4:20. Florida changes. Brown, Kruger. Reynolds looks like he had gone for a change. They send Nietzsche out. Nietzsche comes in, sets up behind Campbell. Florida wins the faceoff off of Kruger. Puck to the corner. And behind, Kruger tries to pin. Campbell comes around, knocks the puck loose, sends it up high, looking for Nietzsche. Kruger ties up. Kruger, feet, puck was in his feet. Puck gets sent back in. Campbell. I don't know what that. Okay. I know it hit the top of the glass, so he whistles that one. We'll get a change. 3:58 to go. Carter, Paulo, Chalicki on. Campbell and Rybicki at D. Face-off one over to Rybicki. Rybicki gets it knocked away. Florida tries to send it up, and it misses. Carter coming down to get it played by the goaltender. He sends it around. Chalicki comes in. Carter over to help. Sends it back to the corner for Chalicki. Carter knocks it back down. Takes a cross check. Florida picks it up and decides to regroup. They send it across and knock it behind Cutting. Campbell. Puck gets knocked away and over to Carter. Carter on the sideboard. Puck comes up, blocked by Paulo. Puck comes out, Chalicki over, giving some pressure for Florida. Florida sends it up, picked up by Rybicki. Chalicki takes a hit, and that'll be a penalty. You got to play the puck. Kids keep forgetting that. So Florida going for a roughing penalty. If he had touched the puck, it would have been fine, but he's got to hit the puck. Well, we go back on the power play with 3:10 to go in the second. Nietzsche, Reynolds, Palauskas, Letcher, and Prusgitis. Letcher's pass gets deflected. Florida battling against Reynolds. Reynolds ties up. Nietzsche trying to get it dug out. Florida's pinning it. And the whistle is blown dead. We'll get a face-off again. Letcher sends that back down for Reynolds. Reynolds' pass gets deflected. He gets it back, but then cleared out by Florida. Florida trying to beat Prusgitis on the far side. They send it across. Palauskas is there. Palauskas for Nietzsche. Nietzsche's got a breakaway. Nietzsche. Forehand, backhand, saved by Florida. Picked by Reynolds. Reynolds to Palauskas. And saved by the goaltender. Palauskas had an opportunity in front. Nietzsche had the breakaway. Both of them turned aside. Florida steps in front and gets a hold of that face-off, trying to get past Campbell. Campbell knocks it over to Chalicki. Kushkowski picks up the puck and sets up. Minute 7 to go on the power play. Kushkowski leaves it for Campbell. Campbell to Paulo. Paulo to Chalicki. Chalicki to Kushkowski. Kushkowski gets it to Campbell. Campbell gives himself some space. Kuszkowski gets pinned, and Florida clears. Cutting. Sends it around. Paulo picks it up off of the boards. Oh no, gets tapped. Campbell recovers. Kuszkowski touch pass to Paulo. Paulo. Shot. Goes from behind the net. Chalicki picks up, gets it to Campbell. Over to Kuszkowski. Kuszkowski for Brown. Brown tips. It gets blocked. Puck is in the corner with Brown. Chalicki and Brown working Paulo to help. Paulo gets free. Gets a shot. It's in front. Paulo with the point blank opportunity, cleared by Florida. 6 seconds to go. Everybody changes. Campbell waiting. Rybicki comes on the ice. Florida intercepts Campbell's pass. They've got 2 in. Florida tries to chip it past Cutting, and he engulfs that in his stomach. No rebound. 1:02 to go in the period. Kruger, our lone goal scorer, on the ice with Carter and Credidio. Face-off one back to Aldridge. Aldridge to Credidio. Credidio taps it forward for Carter. Picked up by Florida. Florida, cross ice. Trying to get Aldridge. Puck is chipped. Kruger. Down. Rybicki looking for Credidio, picked off by Florida, and they come back in zone. Centering pass, nobody there. Carter working on the sideboards, ties up his man, Aldridge helping, chips it into neutral ice. 25 seconds to go. Florida in their own zone. Credidio forcing a direction. Florida in neutral zone, misses their pass. Puck goes up to Credidio. Credidio getting held. That's a penalty. No call. And that'll be the end of the second period. Some of the things that are penalties and aren't penalties are, I mean, that's interference. Clear as day. I'm wondering if some of these guys are collegiate. Right? I mean, you kind of wonder how many of these guys like are also like I think the one's got an ACHA sticker on his helmet. So like how many, like how many of these guys are doing different things, right? I mean, for the most part, they're pretty good crew. Yeah. And I didn't see the Paulo interference, so I wasn't sure. Oh, is that what it was? I thought there was a slash coming on Miller, but it was. Now we're going to start the third period with Brown, Reynolds, and Kruger. Reynolds tries to win that face-off forward. Puck bounces off of Priskintis back to Miller. Miller behind Cutting up to Reynolds. Reynolds to Priskintis. It gets knocked away. Shot blocked by Miller. He gets that to Brown. Brown's pass gets deflected. Priskintis over the sideboard. Florida picks up the loose puck. Miller pins his man. Puck goes up and misses. Hits off of the lineman. Kruger streaking. Brown in the slot. Reynolds takes a shot. It goes high. Florida sends it forward. 2 men in. Brown back on the back check, covers the middle. Good job by Rybicki pinning his man. Kruger comes to help. Puck goes across. Kushkowski's on the ice. Florida sends it around. Pass misses. Brown changes, and Pulauskas comes on. Bergeron on with Kushkowski. Campbell carrying with speed, gets into the zone. He's got Kushkowski in the slot. Pass gets deflected off of a skate. Campbell down low, hits the official. Bergeron trying to battle. Florida wins that race and gets it out. Almost springs their speedy winger. Pass misses, and Campbell comes down. Florida bringing it up the sideboard. Pulauskas is going to go for a hook. Pulauskas will go to the box and sit for 2 for hooking at 15:20. Score still 2-1 Florida. Nietzsche and Letcher out to kill with Priskintis and Aldridge. Florida pushes that faceoff back. It misses. Goes all the way back to their goaltender. Coming back from behind their goalie up the near board. Drop pass. Letcher pushing him wide. Puck gets flubbed up the front. Nietzsche's going to get a breakaway. Nietzsche's got Letcher with tender. Florida turns it back over to Nietzsche to Letcher. Letcher decides to hold to it and bring it back. Aldridge tried to go cross ice for Nietzsche. It's picked up by Florida. Florida's got 3 in. Backdoor pass. And it's a tap in for Florida. So Florida scores on the power play. Campbell sends that puck forward for Paulo. Paulo enters. Looking to pass for Chalicki. It gets deflected, and Carter gets a shot. It goes high off of the glass. Paulo comes over. He's being held. Paulo loses his stick, and he goes for a change. No call on any of that. Officials letting him play. Florida works it back down the boards, gets a shot. It goes wide. Weird bounce in front. Florida gets a point-blank shot. It's saved. I think that puck might have hit the official. These officials haven't necessarily been the best at getting out of the way. But overall, I mean, they're all right. Reynolds with speed. Over to Carter. Carter out of the corner to Chalicki. Chalicki up for Rybicki. Rybicki walks in, gets a lane. It hits off of Carter. It goes high. Carter smashes it into the boards, showing that gentle spirit yet again. Kruger on the ice. Puck goes all the way down on Cutting. Cutting leaves it for Aldridge. Over to Rybicki. Rybicki gets tied up. Kruger, Brown, and Reynolds on the ice now. Kruger digs the puck out. His stick gets lifted. Puck to the neutral zone. Florida goes D to D. Kushkowski on the ice. Puck gets stood up. Brown steals that puck away. Brown carrying forward. Brings it into the corner. Still has the puck. Brown to Miller. Miller to Priskintis. Brown goes for a change. Priskintis to Kushkowski in the middle. Puck gets turned over. Kush shot off with a shoulder. Good shot by Kushkowski. Pulauskas on the ice. Miller gets it over to Prisgintis. Prisgintis down low again. Kruger battling. Puck comes off the boards to Kruger. Kruger to Prisgintis. Prisgintis in front. Kruger digging. Pulauskas winds up with it. It's underneath. Florida finally knocks it away, and they send it down the ice. Puck is on Cutting. Cutting plays it for Prisgintis. Prisgintis escapes. Bergeron makes it on. Florida interfering with Kruger trying to get off the ice. Pulauskas racing in, knocks the puck. Nietzsche. Bergeron gets a hit on. Florida through the neutral zone. Shot on Cutting. No rebound, and we get a whistle. Letcher and Credidio join Nietzsche. 11:25 to go. And it's good to see that Rybicki is watching. Centering pass, misses. Letcher picks it up, gives it to Credidio. Credidio on the far side, cuts into the middle, gets tied up. Letcher picks up the loose puck. It gets knocked away from him. Florida tries to clear. They've got one man forward. It's their speedy winger. Centering pass in front for Rybicki. Rybicki did a nice job of getting away. Florida misses. Pass to Nietzsche misses. Florida opts not to play it. No icing. Paulo on the ice. Puck back for Cutting. Cutting plays it up for Credidio. Bounces off of either Credidio or the Florida player. Prisgintis gets that puck to Credidio. Credidio pulls a shot. It gets blocked over to the far board. Paulo gets a hit on. Florida enters. And back. Waiting for my live stream to connect again. Did I get knocked off the... All right, well, puck is down low in the corner. Florida working from behind. Cutting. Miller ties up. Carter, Paulo, and Chalicki. Quick shot on Cutting. He saves that one. Puck over to Chalicki. Off of the boards for Paulo. Knocked aside by Florida. Puck goes across. It winds up on net. Carter is there. Florida covers. On the ice, Aldridge and Rybicki at D. Kruger takes the faceoff and pushes it towards Reynolds. Bounces off of the board and was in the corner. Florida sends that puck in. Centering pass. Bounces off of a Florida player. Reynolds sends it for Rybicki. Rybicki chips up the boards. Brown knocks it away. Florida trying to get past Reynolds. Reynolds with a breakaway. Reynolds looking. He's got time. Makes a move. Shot. Reynolds with the goal unassisted at 8:52. And it's 3-2. So Reynolds makes it a one-goal game again. Kushkowski, Bergeron, and Pulauskas on the ice. Florida's still up 3-2 with 8:50 to go. Pulauskas sends it in and bounces off of a Florida defenseman. Kushkowski tried to get a jab at it, but it's covered up. Florida took a little bit of exception. The officials step in. Kushkowski takes the face off. Florida wins it back, sends it out in the opposite corner. Bergeron gets there. Puck squirts free. Miller to Pulauskas. Pulauskas streaking through. Plays it to himself off of the boards. Leaves it for Bergeron. Bergeron battling. Pulauskas over to help. Comes loose. Florida trying to go the other way. Kushkowski slows it down. They send it down. That should be icing. Waved off by the official. Shot goes wide of Cutting. Prisgintis sends it up for Pulauskas. Florida knocks it away. Cross ice pass to Prisgintis. Prisgintis sends it in, and we go for a change. Bergeron comes in on the forecheck. Nietzsche and Credidio on the ice. Nietzsche comes over. Credidio with a hit. Rybicki keeps it in. Bergeron gets a change. Letcher's on the ice. Florida comes from behind their own defenseman. Huge hit by Nietzsche. Nietzsche's going to get a rough. No, Nietzsche's going to get a boarding. That's going to be a 2-10. Again, another thing where you've got to play the puck. Nietzsche might get kicked out. This player does not know where he is. It was a giant hit. So Brown coming over to serve the 2. Officials deciding if it is a game misconduct or just a misconduct. I'm going to bet, based off of the injury, it's going to be a game. Nope. All right. 2-10. Regular misconduct, which is good for us. So we're going to lose Nietzsche for the rest of the game. He's going to stay in the box. Reynolds and Paulo killing with Rybicki and Campbell. Florida working it out of the corner and up the sideboard over to their D. Back up to the point. And down over to the corner. Florida trying to work an angle. Down low. Not too much in the middle. Florida working the perimeter. Rybicki pins. Florida works it out and gets it up. Reynolds almost got a hold of it. Paulo did a nice job of tying up. Florida's got to regroup. 1:12 to go on the kill. Reynolds gets picked. Paulo, big hit. Florida's going to even it up here. So Florida's going to get a slash. And we're going to go 4-on-4 for 56 seconds, and then we'll get a power play. Kushkowski, I know it's been buzzing around. It's warmer in here than it is outside. Florida goes wide of Letcher. Prisgintis pins up. They're getting tied up. Florida's getting a little dirty. Letcher draws another penalty. Florida with a cross check. And we're going to go on the power play. So it'll be a 4-on-3 power play. Oh, we're hit from behind, a 2 and a 10 for Florida. Yeah. I mean, I'll take it. I probably would have called a rough. It wasn't that bad. I've been waiting for it to go to the bathroom on somebody. It hasn't happened yet. Chalicki, Reynolds, Paulo, Prisgintis on the ice. Florida ties up Reynolds and knocks him over. Chalicki digs that out. Gets it up to Prisgintis. Prisgintis walks it in. Over to Paulo. Paulo shot. Saved by a goaltender. Reynolds picks it up. Florida trying to get to it. Paulo, good stick. Chalicki all alone. Oh! Chalicki had an opportunity. Paulo! Or, I'm sorry, Reynolds. Reynolds, Chalicki tie it up on the 4-on-3. Oh, Paulo did tap it. So it'll be Paulo from Reynolds and Chalicki. Yeah, I couldn't tell. The way Paulo was celebrating, it looked like he did it. I said Paulo first. I was right the first time. So Paulo ties it up. Eight seconds to go on this kill. Brown's going to get loose here in 1 second. Here he comes. He steps in front. I think Brown got away with a trip there. Definitely looked like one to me. Brown changes and Reynolds comes back on the ice. A minute 5 to go on the power play. Chalicki one time gets deflected. I'm not sure if that was by Prisgintis or somebody else. Paulo digs that puck out. Paulo in front. Puck's still there. Knocked down by the goaltender and cleared. 4:55 to go. 48 seconds left. Pulauskas and Kushkowski come on the ice. Reynolds to Letcher. Letcher carries forward. Over to Pulauskas. Back up for Reynolds. Reynolds puts it in front. No rebound on that shot. Brown and Rybicki come on the ice. Brown, Letcher, Pulauskas, Campbell, and Kushkowski. So Rybicki goes back to the bench. Letcher ties up. Puck is in feet. Letcher digs it out and sends it to Campbell. Campbell steps forward, gets a shot. It's low. Puck knocked over to Pulauskas. Pulauskas to Kushkowski. Kushkowski sends it onto the sideboard. Kushkowski keeps that puck in. It does get past him. Pulauskas regroups with Campbell. Campbell chips ahead for Brown. Goes on net and covered. 3 seconds to go. We'll get a line change. Paulo, Credidio, Carter come on. 4:09 to go. 3-3. Florida wins the faceoff and sends it around. It hits awkwardly off of the boards. Doesn't get as much momentum. They're out of the box. It's even. Miller knocks that puck away over to Carter. Carter couldn't quite keep control of it. Florida, chip pass and sent down low. Good stick by Prisgintis. He knocks that free and gets it up to Chalicki. Chalicki tries to clear it. It gets stuck on the boards. Florida picks it off. Florida, centering pass, shot, goes wide. Carter gets the puck off. He's got Chalicki. Chalicki entering on the far side, slows it down. Tries to get a pass in. Good job holding on to it, puts the puck low. Florida picks it up, and they come out from behind their own goaltender. Chalicki stays on. I thought he was going to change. Carter gets a hit. Rybicki, Chalicki. Chilicki dumps and changes. Reynolds on the ice. Letcher comes on. Credidio. Rubicki gets it across to Aldridge. Aldridge dumps it to the opposite corner. Credidio goes to get it. Letcher from the corner. Digs it out. Drops it for Aldridge. Aldridge tries to get a quick shot. It's blocked. Florida holding Aldridge's leg. Reynolds' pass is intercepted. He changes. Kushkowski comes on. Shot goes wide of Cutting. We got a Florida player in the net. He clears out. Puck down low. Pass gets deflected. Letcher sends it out. Letcher goes for a change. Polauskas comes on. Florida. For the stretch pass. Misses. They wave icing. Pass goes across. Credidio gets a hit. Puck still on the sideboard. Miller. Kushkowski and Credidio digging it out. Kushkowski gets to it, sends it around for Polauskas. Polauskas gets taken down. Campbell battling. Florida sends it down low and goes for a change. Polauskas picks up. Kushkowski comes over to the side. A shot on Cutting. And no rebound. We got a timeout. Officials going over the rules of 5-minute overtime and then the shootout. See if we can't end this in regulation. It'd be nice because I'm hungry. With a minute 15 to go, we're going to send out Paulo, Reynolds, and Polauskas, Prisgintis, and Aldridge. Paulo's going to take this face-off. Drop is one over to the sideboard. Florida knocks it into neutral ice. It hits off of a skate. Paulo doing everything he can to get in the way of that. Shot is blocked by Prisgintis and then tapped on Cutting and covered. Paulo at the dot. Official making sure there's no cheating. Prisgintis was off the circle, so they kick out Paulo. Reynolds comes in, sends that puck back for Aldridge. Aldridge off of the glass over to Paulo. Paulo to Reynolds. Reynolds streaking through. Tries to drag it. Puck gets knocked away. Florida sends it off of the boards. Chilicki is on the ice for Polauskas. Prisgintis, nice separation. Sends the puck up to Chilicki. Chilicki. Pass for Paulo misses, but turnover. Chilicki misses Reynolds, and it goes all the way down for an icing. 34 seconds to go. Kushkowski, Polauskas, and Letcher are going to come on. Campbell and Miller at D. Florida wins that face-off back. It's on the sideboards. They send it down low. Miller is there. He pins his man. Miller and Kushkowski trying to dig it out. A shot on Cutting. Looks like it goes wide. Another shot. Cutting sends it into the netting. 18.3 seconds to go in regulation. 3-3. Face-off dropped. It doesn't go anywhere. Florida chips it down low. Kushkowski is there. Puck gets out, taken out, and shot on the side of the net. Another opportunity knocked aside. Pulauskas sends it down. That goes for an icing with 1.4 seconds to go. Correction. They're going to put it to 2 seconds. Paulo and Reynolds come back on with Chalicki. Reynolds taking this face-off. Face-off one back. Quick shot. Not enough on it. Cutting sees it the whole way, and he covers. We're going to go to OT. 3-on-3 OT. Yeah, you shoot. Yeah. I don't know why you send it back. I mean, if you shoot it hard enough, I guess you could score in 0.9 seconds, but still. Yeah, I don't. Why did they have the goalie? I mean, put that extra shooter right behind him, I guess, if you want to win it back. We're going to send out Reynolds and Paulo with Priskintis to start. Paulo to take the faceoff. Wins it back clean to Priskintis. Priskintis circles off of the board and gives it to Reynolds. Reynolds back to Priskintis. Priskintis gets the puck knocked away. A pass to the slot. Quick shot goes wide. Priskintis picks it up. Sends it off to Reynolds. Reynolds takes it off of the boards. Puts it in the middle for Priskintis. Florida gets to it first, and they regroup.